President Obama right now is on Air Force One heading for Prague. He left the White House this evening, almost a year to the day since his last visit to the Czech capital. Last April, standing in what had been enemy territory during the Cold War, Mr. Obama laid out his vision of a world minus nuclear weapons.
I state clearly and with conviction America's commitment to seek the peace and security of a world without nuclear weapons. This goal will not be reached quickly, perhaps not in my lifetime. It will take patience and persistence. But now we too must ignore the voices who tell us that the world cannot change. We have to insist, yes, we can.
Yes, we can change, he says, and we sort of have in incremental but important ways on this issue. The call for a world free of nuclear weapons isn't a new one. It was a vision, of course, that was shared by President John F. Kennedy. It was also shared by that other notorious weak-willed liberal, Ronald Reagan.
We're not just discussing limits on a further increase of nuclear weapons. We seek instead to reduce their number. We seek the total elimination one day of nuclear weapons from the face of the earth.
What a lily-livered liberal that Ronald Reagan was. Today's right wing is attacking Barack Obama for embracing Ronald Reagan's policy on nuclear weapons, which tells you a lot more about today's right wing than it does about either Ronald Reagan or Barack Obama. But the actions that Mr. Obama is taking now on nukes shouldn't be a surprise. The last time he went to Prague a year ago, he told us what he was planning to do in this field. He said, for example, that the U.S. would cut back on the circumstances under which we would consider using nukes.
Put an end to Cold War thinking. We will reduce the role of nuclear weapons in our national security strategy and urge others to do the same.
Done. This week, the administration released its new nuclear strategy plan, which boils down to, if you don't have nuclear weapons, we won't use nuclear weapons against you, unless your name rhymes with Shmiran or Shma North Korea. You guys are exempt from any deal with anybody else because you're cheaters. Russia, too, made a similar announcement earlier this year. Mr. Obama also said he'd like to reduce the number of nuclear weapons that already exist in the world.
To reduce our warheads and stockpiles, we will negotiate a new strategic arms reduction treaty with the Russians this year.
Also done, albeit a little bit late, Obama will sign the new Strategic Arms Reduction Treaty, the New START Treaty, with Russia tomorrow. It should cut the number of deployed nukes by almost a third. Back at that speech a year ago in Prague, President Obama also said we'd do this.
We should build a new framework for civil nuclear cooperation, including an international fuel bank, so that countries can access peaceful power without increasing the risk of proliferation.
Also in the works, international fuel banks on the agenda for next week's nuclear security summit in Washington. Mr. Obama hopes to secure an agreement on them then. The goal of a nuclear-free world has been around for half a century. Actually achieving it will probably take just as long. And anyone calling President Obama a commie or worse for trying to achieve a world free of nuclear weapons should probably be asked if they think Ronald Reagan was a commie too.